friends, but I like to just pretend. You can clean your papers and pens. Wait until you like me again. Wait for your love. Oh, wow. I'll wait for your love. Oh, wow. They played that at one point. I think it was when Jeremiah and Huda were talking.
LOL.
For that final conversation.
How's it going, Brandon?
Not bad, not bad. You know, just like living my life and just trying to find happiness and pockets of peace. But sometimes, you know, like some outfits, it's you're looking for a pocket, but there is none. Or maybe there is a pocket and it's shallow. So it's just hard. But it's fine. Also, this fuck ass weather we've had going on. It's not helping.
Summer in Florida is very trifling.
It is. I went for a long 2-hour walk yesterday. I regretted it. Because I just forget it's 2 hours long.
Oh, yeah.
I like walk all the way to like some dead end.
Yeah.
And by the time I got to it, I was just like, oh, now I have to walk back.
Now I gotta go home.
And it wouldn't decide if it wanted to be hot or if it was just like cool-ish.
That's so funny.
So I was just like, I can't do this. And then my feet hurt. I was trying to sleep yesterday and I'm like, my feet are sore. Oh, this is too much. And then I got like Chili's for dinner and it was okay, but it's just never as good as you want it to be.
Yeah.
It's just, so what was me?
It was a midday, like
It
trying,
was.
but no, that happens.
If at first you don't succeed, how was your day, Maggie?
I was watching The Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Oh, really?
I love it.
How random.
I know. You know what it is? It's because all of the clips of Next Gen are on my feed or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, oh my gosh, these girls are so cool. Let me watch New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
And season 1 is actually like really
No,
cool. So I'm like, ooh.
Vintage New Jersey Housewives is the best. Did you finish the first season?
I'm almost done.
Oh my
but I
gosh.
found out who because they keep showing the clip of her being like, calling someone a
Prostitution whore.
Yes. I was like, can I say that?
Prostitution whore? You've been engaged 19 times. You stupid bitch. She flips the table.
Flipping the table. I was like, why did Teresa get so upset? But it's been very fun to watch.
The first 2 seasons of Jersey are amazing. The third, Melissa comes in, which is her sister-in-law. It's good in a different way.
Yeah.
But it really set the stage for dark years to come. And now they're on like hiatus.
And I heard her brother kind of made it suck too. Like when the brother came on, it was like, oh, this is not great.
It's like, I mean, is Teresa right in a lot of things? No.
Oh.
But it is, I do stand by it's odd that they came in when they weren't good.
Yeah.
Like, I get why they did. It's an opportunity, but also it's like, it's still shady.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no.
And she won't forget it either. And it's been over a decade.
Yeah, I'm like, they're on season 14, I
Yes.
think. And I'm like, you know what? I like you guys. I want to hang out with you.
Jersey goes through many iterations too, because they have like the core cast and then some people leave and then they try to do a reboot because Teresa goes to jail at one point.
Yeah.
But then they take a year off. And then kind of have new people. That's when Dolores comes after Teresa's jail.
Oh, Dolores with the house? Dolores? Okay.
You'll kind of see her a little bit because she pops up because she is friends with them.
Yeah.
So, but she becomes official after she goes to jail.
Wow.
And then then it enters this new era with like Jackie and Jennifer. And low-key, to me, it was never as good as it could have been.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just lost its family core.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, okay. They stray away. But I'm enjoying what I'm watching. And honestly, I love Teresa, but I also love Caroline.
Okay, Caroline.
Season 1, Caroline.
I won't say anything because I did used to like Caroline, but then should I say it? I'll
Go
say it.
tell me.
Okay,
Yes, tell me.
It's kind of off show, so
Yeah.
it's not really spoiling anything. But so Dina, I love Tina
The
Manzo.
blonde.
Yes, I just love her voice. I love her face. I love her hair. I love everything about her. So she leaves her husband at one point.
Okay.
Who I can't remember if at the time she's married to him or maybe like she was married to somebody else and then leaves this new guy. But whoever, because they were like married to brothers, her and Caroline. What that brother?
Wait, maybe I don't know who it. Is Caroline the old lady?
Yes, with the short red hair.
Okay, yes.
They married brothers. I just can't remember at the time if Dina was still with him or was with a new guy. I think she gets divorced twice, but regardless. So years later, like maybe, was it 2016, 2017? I think it was pre-COVID. Dina's in California. She's with her new guy. Caroline's brother-in-law hired a hit to have like this guy like stalked and everything.
What?
And then there was like a home invasion and the guy attacked both Dina and the husband.
Oh my god.
They survived, but there was this whole court thing, and then Caroline wrote a character statement for the brother-in-law.
Oh my god.
Which is essentially against
her friend.
Dina.
Yeah.
Her sister.
Wait, that's her blood sister. Right, that is her sister. Dang.
So that's where Caroline will forever lose me.
Wow. You know, the way that she's like, because it's season 1, but she's very much like, I'm writing for family rides for family, because there's another girl who's friends with Danielle. I can't remember the other girl. Jacqueline. They're like, we need to keep Jacqueline away from Danielle because Danielle's not safe in the book about Danielle and all that stuff. But I'm like, that doesn't sit with the person who she's portraying herself to be.
As Kyle Cook once said towards Lindsay Hubbard, that doesn't pencil.
But it's great background noise. I'm like, I'm liking this, and the girls are so stinking cute when they're little.
Teresa's daughters.
Her daughters.
They're so Melania. Oh my gosh.
Brandon, Gia's like a little adult.
She is.
She's 7, talking about, the GPS says turn left. I'm like, what? She's like so aware of everything.
She is. I think it comes back to her in her adult life. I think she also thinks she's a little mature. And it's just, you kind of see she's not.
Yeah.
But I think she had to be in her family. Because what was it? Teresa got remarried to this guy named Louis. And he's like a grifter.
Oh, she divorced. No, you're fine. Because I was curious about that. Because I saw he got deported.
Yeah, he did.
And moved somewhere.
I think he's in Italy.
Italy? Okay. I wondered if they were divorced. So it's fine.
Yes.
It's fine.
Well, she remarried this guy Louis who sucks. And she didn't get a prenup. Or she didn't do anything. And Gia was like, why wouldn't she? And it's like, oh, I don't know. Maybe because like her first husband got her through all this like financial strife and she had to go to jail. Yeah. I don't know.
Facts.
And now this guy low-key has shit about him. Like exes coming forward about him. He's like bad in business. Like maybe she should, but okay.
Okay.
So
wow.
There's a lot with Jersey. I'm excited for your journey.
Yeah, no, I'm like, I gotta jump in. I think I'm on episode 5 or something. They just found out about Danielle and the book.
What was it called? Cop Without a Badge.
I was like, not a whole book. She's like, I know it was Dina. And I'm like, I think it was everybody, but
I think everybody. That will be revealed in the finale.
Oh, who actually brought the book out?
Yes, the final dinner. Now I want to rewatch. Okay, so it's enough with those crazy kids. Should we jump into our hotties, hot girl summer?
Yes, our baddies.
Pose with me.
What did Meg say about herself? She's the hot girl coach or something?
Yes, something like that.
It was
for
cute.
A booty battleground, yes. I think. That was funny. But hey, y'all, welcome to the Shade of Doll. Yeah. I'm Branson.
I'm Maggie. Welcome, folks. Welcome.
We are here to bring you nothing but entertainment, Love Island takes, looks.
We're here for you.
And just everything in between.
Everything in between. We had a great live on Friday.
We did.
We had a really cool sidebar conversation with one of our patrons, Nicole. That was everything. Shout out to Nicole.
She made some confessions. And it was a lot, but I appreciated her honesty in that moment.
So fun, yes.
But with that, should we jump into these episodes?
Let's go.
We're doing 15, 16, and 17. 17 was just the Aftersun.
Yes.
But, we like to give a little, something to it. We're not like the comments of the social media posts being like, why is Aftersun on? Why is Aftersun on? It's on, y'all.
We watched it.
Just watch.
Just watch it.
Enjoy it for what it is. I don't know.
Sometimes the cast makes an appearance. Not that bad.
Right.
And this time they gave like scene behind the scenes things that was cool.
Paige was on. She didn't wear suede. She looked great. Like All right, so episode 15 starts, and Jalen has left, y'all.
Yes.
And this is sad. You know, they don't seem that sad, but like sad enough. They probably didn't know him that much. Yeah. But we are sad. Great to see his success outside of this and how he's getting like so many followers and stuff.
Yeah. Did you see the 500 thing? Mm-hmm. So is he home already?
I think so.
So they're not gonna have Jalen on Aftersun, I guess.
Oh, I guess not. I didn't think about that.
Because Charlie's still hanging out. Or
Charlie was. I guess because Jalen wasn't there for a long time, so they're like,
yeah, you can go home right now.
They're like, maybe they'll Skype him or something. It
was cute though. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, Jalen, you're so sweet. They're like, he bought himself balloons and a cake. Like,
and set up his tripod
to take a picture. It was cute.
It was. But Taylor, Olandria, and Huda are chatting. And Huda says she loves Taylor to death for keeping her in the game. And he's like, I love you too, but y'all need to separate and we got to get out of the cycle because this is stupid. Huda says she feels like she keeps getting slapped because he's in a couple and goes on dates and she's still single. She feels like he keeps winning. And she's pissed that he didn't vote for her to stay. And she goes on this rant and they're just like, okay, so this is what we're talking about. You need to stop doing this.
This is what you shouldn't do. No.
And she's like, can't I just say fuck you? Like, he just didn't vote for me. Like, da-da-da-da. And they're like, no. It's done.
Move on, sis.
It's over.
It's time to move on. I thought Taylor was about to tell her, like, it wasn't for you. It was really just to get Jalen out. But, yeah.
Him and Ace are maintaining that's not why they voted him out.
All right.
Which, okay. They try to tell her to stop with the toxicity and pettiness. Taylor says it should just be positive vibes moving forward. And Huda's just like, you know, this vote was enough for me to let it go.
All right. Here's
see.
hoping.
But I did love Taylor in this conversation.
Yeah, I like that he was honest with her, and they were both like, "Girl, stop! Nope, stop! What you're gonna do is not this." Like, they kept it a buck with her. Finally, I think somebody really was just like, "It's your yes, you know, everything sucks, but your behavior, you know,
you're doing too much."
Yeah.
Ace and Chelley talk. He walks up and kisses her. And she says she's happy they're finally in a couple.
Yeah.
And that hearing Austin and Amaya choose each other gave her relief. She feels like she can finally be herself. And it's like, okay, so we were right. And you not really liking Austin.
Yes.
And you just wanting to be with Ace. Because they kept saying they're like, finally, we're a couple. And it's just like, but you've been acting like you were torn. Like, we knew you weren't. But like,
I mean, he didn't pick you. But like, also you were in this triangle thing. And, you know, but yeah.
Whatever you say.
Whatever you say.
Ace says he hopes he didn't make the wrong decision keeping Huda, and says he made it because he didn't see effort from Jalen.
Which makes no sense.
It doesn't. Like, Jalen liked Olandria.
He tried, I think.
They were coupled up.
Yeah, they talked a lot.
He was there like 4 days.
Yeah.
Taylor and Olandria chat. She asks how he felt about Jalen going before him, and he says he thought the door would be locked. He does say, though, that Jalen was super cool, and he stood behind Huda because he had faith in her that things can change. But Olandria tells us she's happy to be back with Taylor, especially after seeing him with Huda tonight. So I think that was very attractive to her to see him like talk her down like that.
Yeah.
Austin and Amaya, they say they're excited to be in a couple.
Yeah.
For now. He tells us this feels validating and is happy not to be in a triangle anymore. They talk about sleeping together and he says he's warm. And I did note she was very touchy here.
Yeah.
But this is not the moment he will bring up.
No.
At a later time.
Yeah.
So
stay tuned.
I will not add this to evidence. Iris and Jeremiah chat. Iris has an interesting voice. Because it kind of sounds almost like, I don't know, like kind of zen, like a yoga teacher. But it's also as if she's not swallowing when she talks. I don't know how to, like, she's like very like this, and it's just like one of those, like she's only talking from like this part of her mouth forward. Nothing's happened. I don't know how to explain it. But I do like her, that being said.
I like Iris, yes. I want Amaya's voice.
Oh, Amaya, she's so cute.
Amaya, yes. I think Amaya is my favorite girl.
She's definitely gone up there for, I did vote for her.
Oh, you did?
So
I didn't even get to vote. I forgot. And it wasn't working. People have conspiracy theories about that. We'll talk about it. But
I think I did it right at midnight, so there was only like 30 minutes left or something.
You have 30 minutes.
Right. But Iris says she's in shock and proud. He made a mature option. And Huda's listening in. She walks by and she's like... Iris says she doesn't need to call people bitches and pussies, and he says he'd rather go home than be with someone toxic. He says he finally felt joy tonight. And Iris is just like, yeah, it's about finding the right connection, not just the first one. And Huda's like, yeah, about that. So Iris, can I talk to Jeremiah, please? Oh, and can I actually sit where you're sitting?
Like, can you leave? Like get out.
I'm pulling him for a chat, but you gotta go. So Huda and Jeremiah talk.
Yes.
And she says, I'm not here to argue. And I wish you the best.
I wish you the best.
I'm just extremely hurt.
Yes.
And this, like, I had some of the best memories with you. You know? Cut to Iris and Amaya. I can't fucking iron. Like, how am I supposed to be a wife?
It's like, I love you, Amaya.
She is the comedic relief that is needed.
Iris just goes and helps her.
Yeah. And Iris is like, guess who just pulled Jeremiah for a chat? And she's like, are you fucking kidding me? After we just saved her?
Yeah.
Back to Huda and Jeremiah. She says they're both to blame for the toxicity. And he laughs. He's like... And she's like, do you not agree? And he's like, I wasn't the one yelling and calling names. And he's not wrong there.
Yeah.
As far as making it like a public toxicity.
Right.
That was her.
He did do things, but...
you know. Taylor walks in and looks at her. And she's like, no, relax. We're just doing this final talk. Like, it's okay. And then he walks away. I get why she's talking to him once.
Me too. But
like,
I also get why everybody's like, please.
Right. Let this please
can
be
we
the last
Can we have
time.
peace tonight?
Yes. She says she truly cared and starts to cry. And he says he holds no hate in his heart for her and wishes her nothing but the best. She tells us she thinks they're finished. And I'm like, what gave you... water's wet too. Did you know that? He literally picked someone else.
She's like, I think this is the end. And it's like, well...
I think
it was the end this afternoon when you told him, Jeremiah, get away from me, stop talking to me. Like...
I think it ended a million times and then it officially ended tonight.
And you still let that man be the one to be able to open your door. And I'm like, but you told him earlier that day. I can't.
And then they hug and she totally was about to go in for a kiss.
She was. She looked at him longingly.
And he was like... I was like, Huda. That's just embarrassing.
It is.
She was ready to step back into toxicity.
She's like, but kiss me real quick.
One last time. He goes into the kitchen and tells a group of them, I think it was like Olandria and Ace was there and some other people. And Ace said, he tells them about the chat and that it's all over. And Ace is like, respectfully, I don't want to hear y'all's name in a sentence. And then he even tries to tell Nic later, and he's like, I don't care.
Yeah, Jeremiah, nobody wants none of this.
Yeah. And so everyone's getting ready for bed. And Cierra says if she doesn't wake up and move differently, she can't save Huda again. Amaya calls out Huda for talking to Jeremiah again, and Huda says it was so she could finish everything.
Yeah.
Nic is overhearing about it. Huda shows love to Chelley and Ace and Amaya and Austin. She's like, let me be positive. Chelley and Ace are together. Isn't that amazing?
Isn't this great?
Amaya feels like she can just be herself with Austin. And then they're all in bed, and Hannah spits in her hand.
I did not see this. We were talking about it yesterday, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
They address it on Aftersun. They're like, "So they got hot and heavy."
Yeah.
The next day, everyone talks about being happy in their new couples. It's like a montage. Like, I'm so happy to be in this couple. I'm so happy to be in that couple.
Yes.
Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel. Chelley and Olandria chat. Olandria said her and Taylor cuddled for a little bit. Says they're not strangers anymore, so they can kiss more. Chelley is happy Ace is kissing her, but did say they didn't cuddle as much this first night, which she's okay with, but she definitely wants it to happen.
Yeah.
And then Cierra pulls Huda for a chat. And this was an amazing chat, I must say. But it does cut between, I think, Iris and Jeremiah a little bit, which was an interesting chat. And I came into some revelations with that one. She tells Huda she was conflicted last night. She almost stood behind Jalen because she wasn't sure that Huda would take steps forward to better herself. And I was like, okay, keeping it real, keeping it real.
Yep.
We cut to Jeremiah and Iris, and he says he feels peace. Says waking up with her felt healthy. And he liked that she wasn't making it about herself and was just checking in on him. And this is where I'm like, bitch, shut up. Like, this is where you're losing me. Because it's one of those things I'm like, and I think this is the core issue Huda had. It's like, yes, Huda went about it wrong, obviously. But I think her core thing was just like, did he ever really check on her? Did he ever initiate, hey, are you okay? Like, or I see you're upset, can I look after you? We saw Huda do that a few times. And again, Huda didn't handle stuff great, but it was very much like Jeremiah, I think, wants like a mom or a mama. A mamacita? Because it's just like, it's very much like, I'm so happy she didn't make it about herself. And anytime Huda would say anything that was like against him, he would kind of like be a little immature about it.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, you know, and Iris, did you check on Iris significantly?
Right.
To make sure she was okay? Huda just embarrassed her in front of everyone and said that like you weren't attracted to her. Iris was thrown in the middle of all this and it's so uncomfortable. This is about her as much as it is about you.
Yeah.
So did you grant her that grace of like checking up on her, making sure she was okay? I don't know. If
That's
you did,
valid.
we didn't see it.
Yeah, no, that's valid. Because I think on their date, he apologized to her, but I feel like even to this conversation, he should be like also checking on her and stuff. That's true. And like what you said before, yeah, whenever somebody challenges Jeremiah on something, he's not with it. So he doesn't really do a lot of like, he is, I can see ways that he's kind of selfish. Yeah. You know?
So I understand Huda's core issue.
Yes.
But again, she went about things horribly.
Yes, very, very not great.
But it cuts back to Cierra and Huda. And Huda just hates seeing him with Iris. She says it's hard to see. And Cierra says she hates seeing Huda like this and losing control of her emotions. And says the second you beg someone else for respect is the second you lose it for yourself. And I'm like, Cierra,
write a book, girl. I was like, this is great.
I was like...
Gagged. And the way that she said it, like, I think could have been, you know, but the way she says it is like very like I don't know, just easy for somebody to receive. Like, it is kind of like, it's not shade, but it could be taken as shade. But I think even Huda received it, you know, like the way that she's talking to her.
It came from a caring place.
Very caring.
Of like, I want you to be better and I love you and all that. So I was surprised too a little bit that Huda was receptive because we know Huda. Yeah. I could see her being like, are you fucking kidding me? But no, she was like, you know what?
Are you telling me I lost respect for myself? Yeah. But no, she was very, I don't know. Huda like slept really good, had a good morning. Maybe other people spoke to her behind the scenes, but she's very level-headed this day.
She is.
Which is good. It's nice to see.
It's very nice. I really appreciated it. And spoiler alert, she didn't win me over completely, but she didn't make me mad these episodes. I was kind of like, okay, Huda.
Yeah.
And then Cierra says she sees a better path for Huda, but she needs to see it for herself. And this is where they did, I think, one of the most disrespectful things. They start playing some fucking male acoustic version of That's So True by Gracie Abrams. What is this fucking folk ass like?
You couldn't buy the rights to the song.
Like Altered State at the mall would play this shit. Cierra says it was just a moment in time and it was a lapse of character, but it's not who she is. And Huda does say, you know, she is a little disappointed when she thinks of her daughter. And Sierra's like, you know what? It's okay. You have like, you can do better. Yeah. You can change. Yeah. And then Huda says she doesn't want to keep dwelling and wants to appreciate that she's still here. And then Cierra says there was a version of Huda before Jeremiah and there will be a better one after. Yes. And I will hold your hand in this journey as long as you're moving. And I'm like, period.
Yeah, no, this was a great chat.
It was.
We see Huda even doing some self-reflection, which is great. But yeah, like, I think that Cierra really gracefully just walked her through that.
Yes,
it was a nice thing to see her receive it too.
I loved it, and this is where it solidified for me Cierra as one of my faves.
Yeah, no, Cierra's great.
Austin and Chelley, they chat. He asked if she missed her last night, and she said a little bit. And I'm like, why
girl
are you
did
lying?
not miss you.
Right. And then they just talk about he slept well. She says a part of her wanted to say Austin, but she had to go with her gut.
Yeah.
With Ace. And it's like, okay. He says he knew her and Ace had a connection, wanted to take a back seat. And I'm like, well, I don't think you had a choice. Because again, she picked Ace too. But he feels like they can be great friends. And I'm like, oh, probably.
Yeah.
That's all y'all were meant to be.
Right.
Nic and Cierra talk about toes randomly. This had a lot of like random couple conversations.
I kept wondering why they were just showing us seeing Nic and Cierra have these like weird random conversations. And I have a conclusion.
Set
maybe
us up for the next episode.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think so.
Pepe and Hannah chat. He says, I can guarantee there will be a million things that you don't like about me and a million things that I won't like about you.
A million?
She's like, a fucking million? Maybe that means we shouldn't be together.
A million? What the fuck?
And this is where I'm like, what fucking book did he get this quote from that they like glorified in some romance novel?
I'm like, Pepe, what? Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, it's really great, but I'm sure there's a lot of things I'm not gonna like about you.
Right.
It's like, but why?
A million?
That's too many.
Who's that one? Colleen Hoover. Is that from Colleen Hoover? He says he's a relationship guy and he likes to make long-term work. She's like, yeah, that's cool and all, but I'm all about deal breakers. So you want to get to know someone, and living with someone, you really get to know them, and there can be some weird deal breakers that happen. Like I lived with someone for 2 years, and then they kind of just like talk about that. And she does tell us though that she's trying not to set any expectations with Pepe. She just wants to get to know him.
Yeah.
But he makes her happy and is a great guy.
Yeah.
So that's cute, I guess.
Yeah.
Taylor and Olandria talk about camping, and then Ace gets a text. And it says, y'all ready to turn up the heat in tonight's game? And then Hannah gets a text that they got hot girl swimwear. And then Cierra gets a text, I'll see y'all soon. Love, Megan Thee Stallion! Oh my gosh.
Bro.
They were all freaking out. I would too.
This is like, I don't know, next level, otherworldly, like what? Y'all need to go, after this, each one of you needs to individually thank Serena, Janae, Leah, like all of season 6, because Megan's coming because the show is popping because of them. Like they had a good ass season, but I'm just like, Meg?
Yes.
Also, I don't know how it works or whatever, but I just really respect Megan's management, because she is doing Love Island. A couple years ago she did She-Hulk, and that was really cute. Like she does these little like pop-ups and stuff where it totally fits, and I just respect it. I love it so much.
I love it too. She has fun.
Yeah, she does. And this was so cool to see her hang out with them.
It was. Amaya is saying how she taught me how to shake this little booty, and she starts stretching her knees to prepare. They go and put on the swimwear. And she's saying how Megan got her through her breakup. And then there's slow-mos of them in the bathing suits. They all look great.
Yeah, they look awesome.
And then Megan Thee Stallion has entered the villa. Looking amazing. In her hot girl swimwear. Doing the walk.
She's so tall. I was like, you are eating this up.
Her makeup looks amazing. Everything.
Body, yada, yada.
She meets all the girls and everyone freaks out. They all hug her, and then she's gagging too, because she's like, oh my gosh, this is where everyone gets ready. This is where Cierra gets ready. This is where Chelley gets ready. Y'all are so beautiful, even more beautiful in real life. And then she gives them all pep talks, and it's cute. She says she likes Nic and Cierra and asks if he's really nice in real life. They say yes. She says Olandria, and she's like, you know my name! Oh my god! She asked what the booty routine is. It is just like, Meg, I don't think you need one, but fair, because Olandria looks insane.
No, she was like, it's genetics. And I'm like, you lucky bitch.
Right? She praises Chelley for telling Ace she's not trying to be the perfect girl for Ace. Mm-hmm. She brings up Babegate and says she wasn't sure what Amaya was about to do.
Yeah.
That was funny.
It was.
She tells Huda her face card never declines, and she wants someone to come in and put their foot down with her.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is what Huda needs.
Yeah.
And Jeremiah was never going to be that. Mm-mm. Tells us her favorite moment was the Nic Mamacita moment. Which was funny because her and Ariana, I can't speak. Her and Ariana did a TikTok of it, and it was really funny. They did like a voiceover. She asked Iris how it feels to be in there, and Iris is like, "It feels good," and she's like, "Why are you lying?" She's like, "I was put in the middle of some craziness, but it's okay." She tells Hannah it was sad when Charlie got voted out. Not Hannah acting like she was about to cry.
Yeah, she's like, you saw?
I do think though, Hannah, she must be a big Megan Thee Stallion fan because she just went mute. It cuts her a few times and she's just like...
No, the way that I would... the woman was too stunned to speak.
Right. They talk about her collection, how good it looks. And it was just a fun time.
It was so cute. I was like, I love that she had like this intimate moment with the girls, like talking to them, hyping them up. Like, it was so cute.
It was.
Because she's all about women empowerment, you know?
Is.
So I'm like, and then it felt so natural. I was like, you just do this. Like, you just go out and talk to people. Like, you're so cool. It was cool.
So personable too, because you know, there could be a stigma with someone that's that famous. Like, oh, maybe they wouldn't like be not as nice, but just kind of maybe like see themselves as higher than people that like are kind of like nobodies, or like, you know what I mean? They're not as famous as her. But no, she's like so personable and relatable, and just like, I'm a fan of y'all.
So down to earth, the way that the conversation just flowed, and she was like, I'm your hot girl coach, and they're like, like, she's amazing. She's
came to mentor them, and she did great.
She did amazing.
They go downstairs to meet the guys, and Ace, of course, has to be extra and does like push-ups.
Yeah.
I'm like, get up.
She's not here for you. Right. I think he like introduces himself or tries to shake her hand or something.
So now it's time for the challenge. It's going to be girls versus guys. There's 3 rounds. Round 1 is a twerk off. Round 2 is limbo. And round 3 is puzzles that will make up bombshells. And whoever like completes the puzzle, they win the bombshell. And this is where I will say the guys kind of made me laugh, because she asked something like, who wants the bombshells more? And the guys are just like, him. And it reminded me of Bill Nye, the theme song, Bill. And I was like, y'all are too much, stop this. Don't be funny. Round 1, the twerk off. First up, Huda and Ace.
Huda eats.
She does. She kills it. She does good twerking. She's on her knees. She lifts her legs. She does it right. She looks good. Ace decides just to dance.
Yeah.
It reminded me, y'all know that scene from Bring It On, All or Nothing? With Hayden Panettiere.
When the guy is like crumping and she's just standing stomping
there. And then she does her thing. I'm like... But it was good energy, I must say.
Perfect example,
Brad. But Huda does win.
Huda wins.
That was good at least. Amaya versus Austin. She's cute. She does a split. It was fun. Yeah. Austin, I'm sorry. This was terrible.
I was like, what is he doing? And it was like so off the rocker that it was like somehow kind of like admirable, you know?
He was trying.
He tried really hard, and it was like, okay.
He looked like a scarecrow just learning how to use its limbs. Like fucking Wizard of Oz.
He was doing like the crab walk and stuff.
Oh my gosh, he was doing the Wizard of Oz when they did the Scarecrow song. If I only had a brain. That was him, and it fits because it's Austin. Literally, I was disgusted.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was like, I wasn't disgusted, but I was just like, this is different.
Different? Yes.
Yeah.
And he barely twerked too.
I was like, this is a twerk off, but we're like giving them points for just trying.
Right.
Because I think there were rules. It was like effort, creativity, something. She had like a rubric.
But the competition is called twerk off.
Right. And he didn't do no twerking. Some twerking. He tried though. He bent over and did something.
There was one moment where he almost twerked.
Yeah.
But he does win. Olandria versus Nic. She's unreal.
Oh my gosh.
Like, Chelley said it perfectly. It's like water. It's just moving. And she does amazing.
Yes.
Nic, I will give him some snaps. He was funny.
He was funny.
He did a crawl. He made eye contact. He did a little twerk. I was like, Nic, stop.
Yeah, he was cute with it.
And then Megan tries to be like, well, I don't know, y'all are gonna have to rock, paper, scissors, and Huda's like, isn't this a twerk off?
And then the guy's like, more creativity.
And she's like, okay, Olandria. And she's like, I knew you would.
Yeah.
Chelley versus Taylor. Chelley goes for it. She goes up to Meg, and she's just twerking on her.
Yes.
And they're like, this isn't fair, this is against the rules. And it's like, no, it's not.
You touched a judge. I was like, Chelley, you're so brave. But like, Meg was for it.
She was.
It was so cute.
It was. And then Taylor, he was funny.
Yeah.
I must say. He was doing these moves. He was making these faces.
Like, his facial expressions were crazy.
They were wild, but like, I did love them. So I can't hate too much on them. And then he ends up winning, which I think Chelley should have won, but he was funny at least. Round 2 is just like a bunch of limbo. And they're just doing it lower.
And I don't think they did it right.
No, that's my no. I was just like, I don't think they're doing this right.
Like, I think you're supposed to bend your back and go under the pole.
They're doing like just over
scooting
like,
under
flips, tricks. And it came down, I think all the guys made it to the end and only Hannah made it to the end, because Hannah was kind of doing it the most, right?
Yeah.
Like, she was like bending down.
Yeah.
But the guys got that. Round 3 is the puzzle. And it's just a bunch of puzzle chaos. They're like going off. They're like, where's this? Where's that?
Yeah.
The girls have to do the guy bombshell. The guys have to do the girl bombshell. And then at the end of it, though, the girls get their puzzle done first.
Yeah, they got it done first. The girl bombshell had like 2 hands next to each other.
The guys are like, isn't it right? And she's like, why does she have 2 hands on one side? So the guy bombshells enters. The guy bombshell enters, and it's TJ.
TJ!
He's 23. He says he's the whole package. Good looks, he's smart, and he's funny. And he says he's definitely going to make some noise. He walks up, and Amaya goes, we build you! Look!
You're over there, TJ! Oh my god! I love Amaya.
Chelley says he's fine as fuck. I'm like... He's okay. He's not bad.
First looks at TJ, I was like, you're handsome. Fine as hell.
I don't know about all that.
That's
but,
yeah.
You know, hey, to each their own.
To each their own.
Chelley just be saying shit, though.
I was like, they asked her to say that.
Somebody say he's fine. The boys are upset they didn't get theirs, and Ace says he's sick, and Huda's like, not that, Chelley. And I'm like, true, but I think he's just being extra. He's one of those, he seems very performative. Very. So when it comes time for like a challenge or anything that's for sure going to be shown, he's
goes
like,
crazy.
Let me like get my personality out. Megan says she can't leave them hanging though. So we enter Andreina. She's 24, born in Spain, but is Dominican. She ranks herself a 10 out of 10, and she's interested in Jeremiah, Nic, and Ace. She walks up, and Huda actually compliments her.
Yeah.
She's never done that to a bombshell before.
Never.
But Pepe is excited. She speaks Spanish. Sadly, Megan leaves.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, stay forever.
Please.
But Hannah's worried her man will get taken. And then, and spoiler alert, I'm like, you should be, but not by who you think. And then Huda hopes she's TJ's type because he's hers. And then Pepe says it's fair game. So
that's the end of that episode.
That's the end of that fun episode.
Yes. I was gonna ask you.
Oh yes.
I don't remember though, so maybe it doesn't matter. I was like, there was a question there somewhere.
There was something I wanted to say.
On our live, one of our patrons, Jalissa, was saying that TJ looks just like Harrison from season 2.
Oh, yes.
And he does. He looks like he could be Harrison's little brother. If y'all remember, Harrison was a bombshell after Casa, I think, who was a jeweler from Europe, I think.
Yes. Or Australia?
Somewhere, yeah.
I think he was Australian.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, because he had an accent.
Yes.
But TJ looks just like him.
He does. They have very different vibes, but very similar face.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so we jump into episode 16. The girls meet TJ and the boys meet, sorry, how do you say her name? Andreina?
Okay, I say Andreina, and I think Megan said it too, but I think technically it's Idrina or something like that. But I feel like I'm saying it wrong, so I'm so sorry if I am. I love you, girl.
What should I say?
Whatever feels right.
I'm just gonna say Andreina because I don't want to. I can't do that. It's hard. Okay, so the girls meet TJ, the boys meet Andreina. She says she's from Spain. She's Dominican. She lives in Jersey, and she just graduated. She studied global business. And they ask her, like, what's her type? And she says her big thing is chemistry. And Jeremiah, or she asked the guys, like, about theirs. And Jeremiah says his type is foreign Latinos. And she's like, oh, are you, like, just copying me? He's like, no, that's legit my type. And Ace just laughs at him. The girls chat with TJ. They're like, what's your sign and stuff? He says he's a Sagittarius and his favorite food is steak. In her confessional, Iris says she has her eyes on him. The boys chat. Nic says he's open, definitely open, and like really open. And she's like, oh, okay. Like he really makes it clear that he's open. And in his confessional, he says she's gorgeous. He's a little nervous. He's not afraid to admit it. And then Andreina says Nic is really cute. In her confessional, she says he's really cute and very sweet, and Jeremiah is very sexy. So she has her eyes on them. I don't know if Ace would make the cut. He's too short. This girl is tall. She is beautiful. Yeah. She's tall. I was like, Ace is handsome, but I don't know. I
honestly,
I think she's taller than Nic too.
Probably, but I feel like Nic could handle it.
Yeah.
But I am surprised that Nic is saying how open he is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought, I mean, I get that they're open, but he seems like very open.
Yeah.
Also, we'll see Cierra later. I'm like, huh.
He's like, I have an open sign on my chest. The light is on. Right. I'm very, very open. The girls are still talking to TJ. He says he's a lover boy. He wants to find someone who he loves, someone who believes in his goals. He's very driven. In her confessional, in their confessionals, both Iris and Cierra say that they have their eyes on him. So they break off, and Andreina pulls Jeremiah. Huda says she's like, I knew she was gonna pull Jeremiah. I knew it. And then they talk, and she's like, well, tell me about you. And he's like, well, my biggest thing is my family is everything. And she says she agrees. Her family is in the Dominican Republic, and she's in Jersey by herself. And he's like, dang, you're all alone. She's like, I have an aunt and a little brother, but like I'm mostly by myself. And then they kind of start speaking Spanish, and he says a couple words in Spanish, and they bond over that. In his confessional, he's like, God, thank you. She is his type. Like, he is very happy about this. Their conversation continues, and she says being a bombshell is like being the bad guy, and Jeremiah's like, it's all good. And she says, I have to be like, oh, I'm taking your man. And he's like, yes, please do. Please take me, help me, girl.
He's like, please.
He's very hype. Then TJ pulls Cierra for a chat, and Nic sees, and TJ is like, don't worry, I'll take care of her. And all the guys are like, he just little bro'd you. And they laugh.
Nic is always getting little bro'd. When Pepe hit his chest that one time.
Yeah, he's like it's funny. So they chat and they discuss where they're from. She says she was born in Chicago. She grew up in Arizona but lives in LA. He says his home is in Westchester, New York, but he went to Tampa to play college baseball. And then they talk about baseball. I don't know anything about baseball, so I didn't write the specifics, but she asks his position. She says she played softball, so they like bond over the sport a little bit. She gives some of her sports highlights. He's very impressed. I guess she had 2 home runs in 1 inning. Whatever that. I know what a home run is, but I don't know what an inning is.
But there's 9 in baseball.
Yeah, but like periods, or is that what they are? It's like
the time they have to get 3 strikes.
Oh, okay.
So it's like the amount of time you're up to bat, and then you'll switch when you get 3 strikes.
That makes sense.
And that is 1 inning. Both together is 1
3
inning.
3 strikes. Okay. Because I remember somebody telling me that baseball games can last forever.
Yeah.
And that makes sense why. Okay. But he's very impressed with her, like, you know, sports and stuff. And he says, like, she looks better in person than she did on TV. And she's like, oh, really? So I didn't look great? He's like, no. You look, I apologize. You look amazing. And in her confessional, she says he's nice to talk to and look at. She likes his energy. She feels some vibes. And then he asks, like, how is it with Nic? And she's like, it's going well, but I'm open. Yeah. So they're both, Nic and Cierra, are very open.
So he went to UT.
Oh, UT,
which is close to us. And Kelsey said that apparently there's a lot of girls that are saying they've talked to him before and like have snapped, like on Snapchat back and forth. I'm like, he would.
Yeah.
But nothing bad has come out.
That's good.
At least yet that I've seen. So that was just funny. I was like, he seems like that type.
Yeah, I was wondering which school they were talking about. UT is a private school too. So
that's very nice.
Very nice school. All right, so Taylor and Olandria talk, and they're just in awe that Meg was there. Like, this was so fun, all that stuff. And then she asks, like, if he clubs, and he's like, sometimes. And she's like, but, like, a country club? And he's like, no, listen, like, not everything I do is country. Like, if I go to the club, I'm going to go to, like, the real club. And she says she doesn't go out as much, but she likes day parties and brunch. And she asks what a normal day looks like for him, and he just says he feeds the horses, cleans the yard, and then at night he does it again. He's not there all day, but every weekend he does do the rodeo. And she's like, damn, every weekend? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, so the whole family does all of this together? And he's like, yeah. So she's learning more about him in her confessional. She says they're nurturing their relationship, and she can see herself being a country wife. So I'm like, all right.
That surprised me because watching her listen, it seemed like she did not like anything he was saying.
Right. Like, yeah, it didn't. Yeah, I got the same vibe. So when she said she was excited about it,
I was like, okay.
Because it kind of sounded a little boring.
A little. And, like, you know, if you like it, cool. Like, that's fine. But it just didn't seem like, I don't know, that she would.
But in hindsight, because she's like, do you go to clubs? And he said no. And she's like, I don't really go out at night anymore, too. I like day stuff. So maybe she's looking for, like, a more relaxed life and stuff.
Yeah.
And this conversation seems more engaging than others.
That's true.
They seem a little more like, you know, they're going somewhere.
It's not as awkward. He's giving something.
He is. I mean, she's asking a lot about him. We don't really see him ask about her, but maybe they just didn't show it. I don't know.
True.
So downstairs, everybody's chilling at the bar. Some people are eating, and Pepe comes and gives Huda like a hug from the back.
Yeah.
Like a side hug while she's sitting. And I was like, what's that?
Right.
We've
never seen them talk before, I don't think.
Or interact. And I was like, that wasn't like an intimate hug, but it was
just like a friendly, like familiar.
Very friendly. Yeah. So I'm like, you guys must be friends, and we just never seen it. And Huda's like, do you want to chat? And he's like, me? She's like, yeah. And in his confessional, he's like, I'm very surprised she's pulling me for a chat. So they talk about the bombshells. They go to the speakeasy. And Huda's like, well, like, when you first came in, you were, like, looking at me, but you, like, never pulled me. So, like, you know, now I'm getting out of my comfort zone and I'm pulling you. Like, was I ever your type? And Pepe is like, I just go for personalities. Hannah has a bigger personality than what I'm used to. I usually go for, like, people who are, like, calm and relaxed. But she's bringing out the kid in me. And then she asks... And he said, she asks if he's open, and he says he is. And then she, like, touches his arm and says his skin is really soft. In her confessional, she's like, having chats again feels weird, but it's good. And talking to Pepe was very nice. He's attractive, but she loves Hannah, and they are all there to do the same thing. So, like, why not? But she feels like a little conflicted.
Yeah. I mean, if he thinks Hannah has a lot of personality, I'm sure he doesn't think Huda's chill.
Right.
So I don't know how this is gonna go.
Yeah.
Interesting. This was just so random.
It was very random. I was like, oh my gosh, what? And then she says, like, you know, she tells him she didn't really get to know people before, so she's trying now. And it's like, all right, cool. I was very caught off guard. I thought of all people she was going to talk to TJ.
Yeah.
The bombshell. You know.
She expressed interest, I thought, at the end of the last episode.
Yeah. So
Pepe
is like a side quest.
Yeah. Pepe was cute, though, when he walked with Huda, he like Hannah was there and he like reached out to her like to give her like a reassuring like
really when she pulled him away.
Yeah, so
that's
I was like,
cute.
that was nice. Pepe, point for you.
Yeah, we see Pepe. I like what I see from Pepe this episode.
Yeah.
So Iris talks to TJ, and she's like, he asks about her connection. She says she's with Jeremiah, but it feels more like friends right now. He says he was nervous at first, but he's really settled, but she makes him nervous. They talk about where she's from. She's like, I'm from Calabasas. He's like, oh, you have money. I mean, I guess, I don't know. And she's like, I mean, yeah, we live to, average. No, I don't. I don't know. Unclear.
She's like, no. Just because Calabasas, no.
Yeah. And he was like, I live in Tampa. I really like the beach. I didn't like New York. It was too much concrete. And she's like, yeah, I don't like the city either. I love the beach. And then he talks about his type is somebody who he vibes with, but she's really attractive. And she says he has nice lips. And so she's trying to insinuate something here. And she's like, so do you kiss on the first date? And he's like, no, but I would kiss you. And then they make out. And afterwards, she's like, wow, this was my first kiss outside of a challenge. So it seemed like, okay, something's happening here.
It was cute. Yeah. They look good together.
They do. And
yeah.
Iris is trying. I had a feeling Iris wasn't sold on Jeremiah.
Yeah.
She's just like maybe feeling a little stuck. So I think she's hopeful about TJ.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see them like continue on.
Yeah.
She was very interested in him. She made her move. She shot her shot.
She shot her shot. Go off, queen. Mm-hmm. So Nic and Andreina talk. And she's like, so who's Nic? And he's like, Nic. and then he starts saying a few words in Spanish. And she's like, oh. And so they laugh and bond over that. I think it's so cute how she says his name.
Mm-hmm.
And then they talk about, she's like, so what's your relationship history, whatever. He says his spiel about being in a long-term relationship. We already know. He says it a lot. And then she says that she's never had a boyfriend. And then she asks like, so what's your sign and stuff? And he's like, well, I don't know. I think he says his, and he's like, is it good? And she's like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, right. She's like, I don't know that shit.
They're just kind of like talking, but it's like, it's not awkward. It's really funny.
Yeah.
And then she asks if he's ever dated Latina, and he says no, but he's open, and he says, I give Brazilian. And she says that she gives Brazilian. So I was like, did you hear what she said? Because I think that's weird for you to be like, I give whatever. And then they keep talking, and she's like, yeah, in Brazil they do this like festival thing, and he's like, oh, I've heard of that, maybe we should go together. And so they joke. And in his confessional, Nic is like, my jaw is on the floor. Like her accent, how she says my name is really doing something to me. I'm like, everything every girl does something for you.
I know. He's very interested in every new girl that walks in. But okay, Nic.
So everybody gets ready for bed. Chelley is still high after twerking on Meg. Andreina says the boys are really nice. And Huda's like, they were so happy you were here. She's being really nice. Nic and Jeremiah discuss how Andreina looks at them. And Jeremiah's like, well, not too much. I mean, I think her eyes were like watery when she looked at you or something like that. Like playing like he's not looking at Nic as hard as he is at Jeremiah. They're like both very swoon. Cierra says that she saw Huda pull Pepe. And Hannah's like, yeah, I just wish she came to me and asked, just came to me first. Mm-hmm. In bed, Pepe tells Hannah about the Huda thing. And she says she feels upset because she was there for Huda. And he says he's really sorry for like that happening. And I was like, that's really cute, Pepe. Mm-hmm. He's got her back. Mm-hmm. And then Chelley and Ace make out in bed. Ooh. The lights turn off. And Nic and Cierra, they get a little busy under the sheets. I was like, oh.
Okay.
So when Huda and Jeremiah did it, it wasn't so obvious. This was plain as day.
Yeah, this one was very obvious.
Sex. They definitely had sex. Mm-hmm. So the next morning, everybody gets out of bed. Chelley and Olandria are like, how was your night, Cierra? And she was like, it was fine. And they like mimic the heavy breathing.
They're like, we know, bitch.
We know you had a good night, girl. Jeremiah makes breakfast for Iris and Andreina. Austin gives breakfast to Amaya, and this is something I noticed. So he hands it to her, right? And then he kisses her on the head. And she's like, oh, the fork. And he's like, oh, my bad. So he goes down and he gets the fork. And when he comes back, he like gives it to her and she kind of gives him a hug. But it's like an awkward hug because he's like not expecting it and he's walking away. And it was just like, she's like touching him, but he wasn't ready for it. I don't know. It was a little weird moment. But he was like, whatever. And then, you know, he walks away. So it's like, okay, that's interesting. And upon rewatching, I'm seeing some things. TJ makes tea for Iris, Amaya, and Cierra. Nic goes up and gives Cierra her breakfast, sees this tea, and takes it away.
He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I think TJ was in the room, too.
In the dressing room?
Yeah.
Yeah, he brought it to them.
And he was still there when Nic did that.
Really?
Yeah, he was like on the other side. I think he was giving someone else something.
That's funny. Yeah. When he went downstairs, all the boys were like, you're petty for that. So Nic, breakfast is over. It's a little while later and we see Nic go up to Ace and he's jumping and he's like, can we talk? Can we talk? And so they sit down upstairs and he's like, after weeks of held up tension, I had one of the best 25 seconds of my life. I apologize that it was so fast, but it was really great. And Ace is just laughing because I think Ace probably heard it too.
Oh, yeah. And
he's like, so now there are more emotions involved. And Nic is like, he really likes her. And when she looks at him, it's like she wants to eat him. He says he's not close off, but he's really happy. And in his confessional, he says he's realizing the connection is deep. They took it to another level and it's really good. It was quick, but they can keep growing from here. And then he tells Ace later he wanted to take it slower because getting really physical fast, there are a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
So he knows like a whole new door is open now. So he's aware, but he's not mad at it. And it doesn't seem like Cierra is either. We don't really get to hear her talk about it.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
But, that was funny.
It was.
But
is it too soon?
I don't know. I mean, that's up to them.
Right.
I mean, it feels quick. It's been almost 2 weeks, but they've been nonstop with each other.
Yeah.
So that even feels like more.
Yeah.
So I think where it just gets messy is it's before Casa.
It's before Casa. Yeah.
And it's just funny that they do that. And then I feel like this episode, they're both like
exploring.
Yeah. So it's kind of like interesting timing.
Yeah, because I think production always has a reason. Granted, they can't see the future, so I'm like, maybe I shouldn't read into it. But like, they've kind of shown us seeing Nic and Cierra kind of have like surface level stupid conversations. Mm-hmm. And on one side, it could just be them vibing, but on the other side, it's not really deep.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe they're trying to show us they're not so deep.
True.
And then they do this, but then I'm like, I don't know, because this kind of makes him like her more.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Who knows? We'll see.
Interesting. Producers, editors, what are y'all doing?
What are y'all doing?
What's your intention?
Unless they only ever talk about stupid things, which I'm sure is not the case.
Yeah, Nic is a little simple-minded sometimes.
Evolution and dinosaurs. So we'll see what comes of it. But I know Nic is gonna have a time in Casa.
Oh yeah.
He
has a time with the bombshells.
Literally, they're gorgeous. My jaw is on the floor. The way she looks at me, like he's so swooned over like nothing, low-key. So TJ and Huda play ping pong, and she like mentions that her type is pretty men, very clean and fit, and she jokes around that he sucks at ping pong. And then Iris gets a text. It's the what's your beef challenge? And Amaya's like, I don't want beef, I want chicken.
I love her.
She's amazing. So we see them on the hill. The girls are milkmaids, the boys are in chaps. And they have this new challenge. This is like the gross challenge, but not as gross as previously.
Right. It wasn't as disgusting as last year's. Yeah. So I'll give them that. So
Olandria and Taylor go first, right? And first you have to wheelbarrow the man through the obstacle course. Mm-hmm. And then you bob for the face of someone outside of your couple that you want to kiss.
Yes.
So Taylor picks Andreina. Olandria picks Ace. And so they all make out. And then you go to the milking station where you fill your mouth with milk and transfer it to your partner's mouth to fill their bucket of truth, where there is a question. So the first question is, who do you think has been spreading muck behind people's backs? They pick Jeremiah and pour the bucket on him. And then they head to the picnic blanket to share the kiss of their dreams. And, you know, they both make out. So they went first. Then Austin and Amaya go. She picks TJ and he picks Chelley in her confessional. So she's with him in the confessional. And they're sitting together. And she said that they know what they have and nothing can come between them. So they're focusing on themselves. And Austin is just sitting there, not really saying anything. During the challenge, she says, she's like, baby, blah, 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 blah. And then when they get to the milk station, she's like, spit in my mouth, baby. And I'm like, this is nasty. And then they say, who is the biggest chicken when it comes to commitment? They pick Ace. And then on the picnic blanket, they seem to be having fun. She was like bouncing up and down on him and whatever. And in their confessional together again, she says like, we'll try not to make babies in here. And she's laughing and he's just like, chill.
Right.
And then she kisses his face and is sitting on his lap. And I'm like, okay. I watched all these things and I thought it was cute. But upon watching again,
after
Austin,
hearing,
and even just after seeing what he said and then watching his body language, he seems a little like not happy.
Yeah, disassociating maybe.
Definitely, he's like, I don't know what to do. Chelley and Ace go. She picks TJ to make out with, and it's a little steamy. He picks Andreina, and since Chelley's was steamy, he like licks her neck, and like Chelley's like, oh, you're mad at me. Their question was, who do you think has been planting drama and watching it grow? They say Huda. And then during their confessional, she's like, because they go to the picnic blanket, they have a really big steamy kiss. And during her confessional, she says that kiss was really great. I wish we could run it back, but you know. And then Ace just grabs her face and kisses her more. And I'm like, Ace is really... This is what he likes when he... This is how he is when he likes somebody.
Yeah, he just didn't like Amaya, which is why he was like, so we shouldn't touch.
Don't touch me, don't look at me.
And it's like, okay, then why did you pick her? But
right.
Anyways.
I guess he was like maybe trying to say like, since it's new, I don't want to go this way. But his delivery was awful. So Iris and Jeremiah goes. She picks... Iris picks TJ and it's very intense. Jeremiah picks Andreina, and while he's picking her up, Huda says she's not very strong. But they go in right in front of Huda. In his confessional, Jeremiah says it was fire. I was like pulling away and she was pulling me back. Her lips are really soft. Like that was a great kiss. Great quiz. Great quiz. The last time we did the pod, I did it without my Invisalign, and today I'm just struggling. Yes. Their question was, who thinks they are the cream of the crop? And they picked Taylor. And then he and Iris go and kiss on the blanket, and she really enjoyed it. Hannah and Pepe go. He picks Cierra. She was pleasantly surprised to be picked. She liked it. And then Hannah picks TJ, and he's like, man, I've kissed like 90% of the girls. Their question is, who do you think is full of bull? And they pick Huda. And in her confessional, she's like, the more like I got the milk dumped on me, the more emotional I got. Even though it's just a challenge, it does hurt. So she was a little sad by that.
Which,
I'm like, all right.
It's what it is.
It is what it is. I think Hannah can say you're full of bull, though.
Right.
You kind of deserve that one.
When you pull Pepe.
Without asking.
Notice Pepe didn't choose you to kiss. He chose Cierra. But regardless, you know, but I do get, you know, it must hurt. I don't know how I would take it if someone answered something shady about me and then poured milk on my head.
Right.
So, she didn't make a scene.
She didn't. She was very calm. So Nic and Cierra go. She picks Pepe, and it's intense. And then he picks Andreina and is grabbing her ass a lot. I think in their confessional where they did it together, she's like, I think your handprint is on her ass. At the milk station, Nic is like, goes feral. He's just like going crazy, licking the udders, he like took a mouthful of milk and swallowed it and then like smiled at everybody.
I was like, Nic.
Olandria in her confessional was like, Nic, what the fuck? You're a great swallower. And then their question is, who do you think needs to leave the herd? They say Jeremiah. And then on the blanket, he goes crazy again. He's doing some Magic Mike stuff. It's like really cute. They have fun. So Huda goes, she gets to pick. She picks Pepe. Hannah does look upset. When they bob, she picks TJ. And in her confessional, in the confessional, TJ says that Huda was really turning it up. She kept sticking her tongue out, was very passionate. Their question is, who do you think is making the biggest mistake? She gives it to Jeremiah. And then in her confessional, Iris says Jeremiah was dumped on so many times, like she felt bad, and he's like, it's fine, don't worry about me. And then on the blanket, Huda goes in, and then she says in her confessional, like, listen, your girl is here, like your girl is here to have a fun time. And I was like, okay. It was kind of cool to see Huda like be herself a little bit.
It was good seeing her put herself out there.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
Yeah. So TJ picks Iris, and then they go to make out. He picks Cierra, and then Iris picks Nic, and they both decide to do their makeouts at the same exact time. And then so they're making out. It's really intense, and then they switch. Nic has Cierra on the ground, and she says it was a lot of fun. They're both having fun.
When they said switch, I was like, wait, what are we about to switch? And then they just switched how they switched, and I was like, oh, okay, boring.
Yeah, I thought Iris was gonna make out with Cierra was gonna make out with Iris, and then Nic would make out with TJ, but no, they didn't do that. And then their question is, who's been acting too chicken to speak their mind? And they say Hannah, and Hannah in her confessional says it smelled bad. And I was like, I know it did, because this looks disgusting. Earlier Taylor said he smelled bad. I was like, I don't know how you guys do the challenge and then hang out in your challenge clothes.
Right.
That would just make me not want to apply.
No, that alone.
Like, please, like, at least let us like change or something.
Right.
Andreina goes last, and she picks Nic. And then Cierra in her confessional was like, can we go one challenge without everyone wanting to kiss my man? To make out though.
No.
No, actually no.
But then some podcasts I listened to compared Nic to like a young Walton Goggins from White Lotus, and now I can't unsee it.
Oh yes.
So it made me like him more.
Whose character?
He was the
Lockie?
one. No, the one
brother?
that was dating the British girl.
Oh, the older guy?
Yeah.
Oh.
I forget his name in the show.
Rick?
Yes, Rick.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Interesting.
A young version of him.
Mm-hmm. So Nic picks Iris to make out, and he puts goggles on her and kisses like her leg and then her neck.
Mm-hmm.
And Cierra looks a little annoyed in her confessional. She's like, is this necessary?
Getting messy after sleeping together.
Yeah. Andreina picks Jeremiah, and she says she liked the kiss. He goes, and then Nic at the milk station goes crazy again. He's just like really enjoying himself. Mm-hmm. The question is, who do you think is a side chick? And they pick Iris. In her confessional, she says she doesn't get it, but whatever. And then on the blanket, they make out, and she like grabs his arm and pins him down, and he is grabbing her ass. It's very intense. Mm-hmm. Andreina in her confessional says, a kiss can tell so many things, and this kiss tells me a lot. So that's the end of the challenge. Very intense. Not as gross as the last one.
Yeah, no. The last one, it was like pork, ketchup, hot dog.
Nastiness. So after the challenge, you're all back at the villa, and Hannah and Pepe talk, and Hannah takes her shoes off, and milk comes out of it. I was just like, yo, this is nasty. So she's like, how was your kiss with Huda? And he's like, it was interesting. And she's like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, I mean, it kind of pisses me off what she's doing to you. Like, it kind of upsets me a little bit. And Hannah's like, yeah, I wanted to react, but I tried not to. And he's like, no, you didn't react at all. And she's like, yeah, I think I need to talk to Huda. And I just love how Pepe is like really standing up for her.
He is. He really seems to like Hannah and doesn't like what Huda's doing and anything. And I don't think he's interested in Huda either. Mm-mm. So it's just kind of like weird.
Yeah. And like he's not... Or he's like really trying to make sure she's okay and empathizing with her. I think sometimes we see the guys like, oh, it was just a challenge, blah, blah, blah. Pepe is not on that at all. No. He's very much like, no, I don't. Yeah, this is weird for me too.
I don't like this.
I don't like this at all. Taylor, Huda, and Olandria talk. And Huda says that she forgot that at the end of the challenge, you make out on the bed with the person that you picked. And she didn't realize she was going to have to do all that with Pepe. In her brain, she thought she was just kissing TJ. But then she realized later that she ended up kissing Pepe too.
Did you go first, Huda, and they just did it out of order?
That part!
I gotta go back because I didn't rewatch this. Did everyone look wet when she went?
That's true. And
she just had like a lapse in memory?
No, because I think the couples intentionally went first and everyone without a couple did not. So yeah, that's a lie. I don't think you're telling the truth. But she's like, well, they were both good kissers and, they kept moaning. And Taylor and Olandria just kind of laughed. And she's like, she says she likes TJ but doesn't know if she is his type. And she can only really talk to TJ and Pepe right now. And that Hannah's pissed as fuck.
Yeah.
And Olandria was like, well, did you talk to her first? No.
No, I didn't.
And Olandria's like, well, out of respect for her, just like tell her that you're gonna pull Pepe for a chat. It's not permission, just like, give her a heads up.
Yeah.
And Huda's like, well, I'm new to this thing and I didn't know everyone. Everyone's like with somebody, so I don't know how the fuck to do this shit. So I'm just trying. And they're like, okay, girl, but
whatever you say.
No, Huda, you're lying through your teeth, man.
New to this, you've been here the whole time.
You've been here the whole time, and you made sure with Jeremiah that not that nobody pulled him, but you felt a way when people pulled him.
Yeah.
So you could maybe understand why pulling Pepe could be doing something to your supposed friend.
To someone who's your actual friend, whereas you were annoyed when bombshells that you didn't even know would pull him.
Right. And I mean, you stated your claim so much that none of the girls in the villa ever even tried to talk to Jeremiah either. Yeah. So, Ace, Chelley, Cierra, and Nic talk. At least I think Chelley's there. Maybe she's not. But Ace says it surprised him to see Huda go off crying all the time. And then Hannah would check on her. But now she does this thing in the challenge today to Hannah. Ace really hates Huda. He's like, that's gaming to me. And Nic is like, look, guys, I'm starting to feel very horrible because it's the whole villa versus Huda. And she did a lot of things wrong, but at the end of the day, she's like a girl who has emotions. I think we saw that today when she was getting the bucket poured on her. During the challenge, she put her best foot forward. And the way she apologized to Jeremiah when she poured the bucket on him, I think it showed a lot of growth. And a few days ago, it wouldn't have happened. It would have been like, fuck this guy. So they kind of agree. Chelley's like, yeah. Oh, Chelley was there. Chelley's like, yeah. And then Ace just looks annoyed.
Yeah, he was ready to talk some shit. I did like, though, that Nic kind of defended Huda, even though I agree with what Ace is saying about her being shady in regards to the Hannah and Pepe. Ace, you say enough. We don't need to hear this from you.
Literally. And it's like everything Huda does, Ace is annoyed by. And it's just like, I get it. And I do think that I do appreciate, because, Ace is kind of like, obviously talking shit, but trying to say something bad. And Nic is like, you know what? No.
We don't need to do all this.
We don't need to do this. And I appreciated Nic. She's a person too, So, and it's like she's not all over Jeremiah just like we wanted. She isn't doing the old stuff. It's not
Jeremiah. Let's be happy at least. Damn.
Right. She is clearly trying to move on. Let's give her a break, She
still has her training wheels on. She's new to this.
2
weeks in, she's new to this.
She hasn't really been here to do all the stuff. So she's figuring it out.
Yeah.
So everybody gets ready for bed or get ready for the evening. Amaya says she feels like she found her bestie in Austin. And Austin says at first it was cool, but now it's like they've been 6 years strong and they have 2 kids together. And Ace laughs. I was like, damn, Austin. I did not think anything that she was doing was really extra.
No, it just seems to be how she is.
That's how she is.
With her couple. Yes. So, I don't know.
Anyway. TJ is like, man, I kissed a bunch of girls, and I kissed Iris a bunch today. He's talking to Jeremiah, and he's like, my bad, bro. And Jeremiah's like, it's cool. So I don't think Jeremiah is very high on Iris.
Yeah.
The girls say they see a twinkle in Iris's eye. They're like, you have a crush. I think referring to TJ. Nic says he was happy to play the game twice because they were like, how was it going twice? And he says it was nice, man, to hold the federal treasury in my hands. And he's referring to Andreina's butt.
LOL.
Nic,
shut up.
It's so dramatic. Amaya and Iris chat. Iris says she is not sure if TJ will talk to her tonight. And she's like, Amaya's like, no, he might. And she's like, but no, he didn't really talk to me today. And we made out yesterday. And Amaya just tells her, like, just try one more time. And if he doesn't pick it up, like, after that, you can move on. And Iris is like, she agrees. And then Amaya says that she's feeling really great about Austin. And after the challenge, it was like a lot of fun with him. She says it shows that they have really great chemistry, and she thinks this is someone she can go on dates with outside of the villa and have a great time. And it was so cute. She's like, I think this is someone who I can go on, like, see myself going on dates with outside of the villa. Like, she looks so happy. And I'm like, my Shayla. Because Jeremiah and Austin talk. And Jeremiah's like, man, Maya was really intense during the challenge, and Jeremiah's like, but how, like things that she said. And he gets up and he's like, no, like she was like grabbing my arm and holding my arm the whole time. And Jeremiah's like, well, yeah, she fucks with you, bro. And Austin's like, I know, but like this shit isn't normal. And in his confessional, he says, I'm a good guy. I have a big heart. I'm compassionate. I'm empathetic. I care about people, but I've never really been comfortable. I've never been uncomfortable with a girl before. And being super locked in with someone after 2 days is a little freaky to me. He keeps talking. He says, he asked Jeremiah if he's being unreasonable. And Jeremiah's like, no, I mean, that's how you feel. Like, it's okay. And he's like, I'm stuck because, like, I wanted someone to be all about me, and now I have someone who's all about me, and I don't want it. And Jeremiah's like, it's okay. Like, it's how you feel. Meanwhile, Amaya keeps talking about how happy she is and how much she likes him and how glad she's found him. And even Iris is like, I'm glad you found someone. Like, I don't think anyone can tell that this is how Austin feels.
He just doesn't like her. Yeah. He's not into her because, like, a lot by her being touchy, like, I mean, you weren't complaining about y'all making out when you first spoke on the dock that one time. Right. But now her, like, rubbing your leg is, like, too much and it's not normal. Yeah. You just don't like her. Yeah. Which, it's not a crime to not like someone, but how you speak about her behind her back, and then when she asked you what you say, that's where the judgment will come. It is because it happens very soon. Before that, Huda pulls Hannah finally. Huda looks good tonight. She will say she has like the straight hair, the all black outfit. I was like, okay, Huda, go off, queen. This is about 24 hours after she initially pulled Pepe. And Huda's like, man, I feel like an asshole. When I pulled Pepe, I didn't realize that, like, I should have asked you. And Hannah's like, well, you don't need my permission, but, you don't need my permission. And Huda's like, so I pulled him, not trying to disrespect you, or anything that you guys have, because you're my girl. But in that, I didn't think about how I should probably tell you. And I'm really sorry I didn't do that. I'm very new to this chat thing, if you can't tell. And Hannah's like, I get that, but, I was there for you through your situation, so it's kind of like, why my man? And they kind of laugh. And she's like, I can't catch a break. And Hannah says she's been, like, Huda's ride or die, and she wants her to explore, but really hopes it's not Pepe. Yeah. And Huda's like, yes, I hope you don't stress. Like, I'm really just trying to, like, know my options. What else am I supposed to do, kind of thing. And in her confessional, Hannah says Huda should have dove into the experience early on and started exploring from the beginning. Yeah. And she didn't know she didn't do that before, and now she's trying to, and it's kind of backfiring on her. And as her friend, she thinks that she should be more intentional with the way that she's moving in the villa. Yeah. Which is very, like, I love the way she put that. Like, yeah, very mature about it. Makes but like perfect sense. She won't do it. That's why. But it makes perfect sense.
It does. And Huda's like, I love you, girl. And Hannah's like, I love you too. And Huda's like, I just hate the way that I made you feel. I feel bad. And I'm like, I don't know.
Do you?
This weak ass apology. Like, I don't even know. I'm not sure.
She does that thing too where she'll kind of smile when she says things. And I'm like, I don't know if this is a nervous thing or it's because you're full of shit.
No, it's kind of manipulative. Like, I'm upset. And you're just like, I'm sorry. Like, my bad.
No, I totally didn't mean to.
I'm so sorry. Like, I mean, thankfully, Hannah is mature, but I don't think it's like. I don't like the. Just take responsibility. You did know, and you shouldn't have done it.
Just been like, honestly, I just didn't think about you in that moment, and I should have.
I should have. That was selfish of me.
And I just was just kind of in my own head, and you didn't even cross my mind, and that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, that's it.
And yeah.
So Pepe and Cierra talk, and they talk about how fun the challenge was, and she was like, I didn't know that you were gonna pick me. No, this is not Pepe and Cierra. This is TJ and Cierra. My bad.
No.
TJ, I was like, Pepe didn't talk to Cierra at night.
Wait a minute. We were just praising Pepe.
Right. No. Sorry. My bad, Pepe.
I think Pepe did pick Cierra in the challenge.
He did.
But
yeah.
I don't think they talked after.
No, they didn't talk. So she says the challenge was fun and she didn't know that he would pick her. And he says he had to. She's very easy to talk to. And she's like, yeah, our conversations are very natural. And he says he really likes her energy. She's very classy. And I was like, I love that you see that about our girl. Meanwhile, Nic talks with Andreina on the dock. And Andreina says that she was happy to pick him because she wanted to kiss him at the end. And it was very fun. And he was like, yeah, like you pinned me down. Like it was crazy. He's like, ay, Dominicana. And I was like, please stop. But she's cool with it, so maybe don't.
Right. She likes it, so.
She liked it. So he said he had a lot of fun. Back to Cierra. They talk about sports more. I think she's like LeBron or Michael Jordan, whatever. LeBron or Jordan. And they talk about basketball. They talk about baseball. They talk about the teams they like. And then he mentions like his dad likes a certain team, and he starts talking about his dad, and he's like, my dad is 72 and I really want to show him that I did something with my life. Like I want to have kids, like I guess as his dad is getting older.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, she could really empathize. She's like, I get that, with your parents. And then TJ just says that he loves how easy it is to talk to her. And I was like, that was kind of a deep conversation.
Right.
In her confessional, she's like, I like Nic, but I'm looking at TJ, and this is a guy that I also have physical chemistry with, who is someone who's giving me a good chat and like, and wants like similar things in life. I'm not cutting myself off from the opportunity to get to know this really great person. And then she tells TJ that she really loved the chat, and he said he did too. Back to Andreina and Nic. She says that from yesterday to today, she sees a different side of him that makes her like him more. And in his confessional, he says, man, again, balancing these two girls is very hard. Scary, very scary. I'm like, Nic, this is your Tuesday. Like, this is your normal day.
You do this all the time.
You actually been doing
to the first week.
Literally, you've been doing this since the beginning. And then they discuss love languages. He says, like, he doesn't really like a lot of compliments. And she's like, oh, never mind. Like, I guess I won't compliment you. And he's like, no. And they joke. And then he kisses her hand, and they say that they're glad that they're open. It was a really cute conversation.
It was.
I was like, actually, it wasn't on the dock. They were on the swings, but it was really, really cute. I think they were on the swing or the dock earlier, but it was nice.
It was.
And then Casual plays by Chappell Roan while we see these two couples
deep in the passenger seat, and you're eating me out. Is it casual now?
And we just see, like, we're not hearing them, but we just see Nic talking to Andreina and TJ talking to Cierra. How did I miss that? And so it was really cute. Later we see Huda and TJ chat in the kitchen, and he's like, I guess she could see that he maybe cut himself shaving. Yeah. And then he was like, well, you like bit my lip earlier. See, I have like a bruise. And she was like,
oh my God, did I?
Yeah.
And she's being all handsy and getting close.
And she's like, I know you hated it. You hated it, right? And he's like, oh no. And they just like kind of flirt. And she says in her confessional she missed flirting, and she was like, I was wondering if I still have it.
Oh.
But I'm having fun. And I'm like, not if you still, it's been whatever. So they go to Soul Ties, and she was like, you were really busy today. And he's like, he was like, I feel like king of the world. And she talks again about his lip, and he starts complaining. He's like, it is bruised. Like, look at it. It's not black, but it's bruised. And she's like, she grabs his chin and like kind of leans in to look at it. And she's like, I don't see anything, but I can't really see. I don't have my contacts in. And they kind of joke and laugh. And Huda is like, in her confessional, she says, this dude is blushing, so I think I still got it. I couldn't stay out of retirement for long. And then they keep talking a little bit, and they kind of call it a night. She's like, you look tired. We can talk tomorrow. Will you pull me? And he's like, I will pull you. And she's like, oh, you'll pull me. Okay. And they kind of joke, and he's like, stop. It was funny. And so they hug and they joke. He helps her up, and he says, this place is beautiful. And she says, why? Because I'm here. She's charming.
She's charming, but she is constantly trying to get a compliment.
Yeah, and
she's like, so you'll pull me? And he says yes, and she's like, oh, so you will. It's like, well, you asked, and what is he gonna say? No. And then it's like, oh, is it beautiful because I'm here?
Yeah, like, it's her way of flirting is very like direct. Like, yes, it's not like a casual conversation. She's like, no, but me, and yes, me.
I do like her energy more. She seems a lot lighter and kind of like the beginning Huda.
Yeah, I don't even ever remember seeing her be like, you know,
like the first second we met her, Huda.
Yeah. The first time we saw her, and she was like, yeah, I like pretty boys. Yeah. So Amaya and Austin talk, and she's like, do you feel uncomfortable when I call you babe? And he's like, no, I know you're just like a really affectionate person. And she's like, okay, good, because I know you're the type to like communicate and speak up, you know, so would you tell me if you're uncomfortable? And he's like, yes, I would. So she asks, is there anything I do that makes you uncomfortable? And he's like, no, I wouldn't say uncomfortable. Like, I like your energy. I'm just like getting to know you. I'm just not used to it yet. And he kisses her head and hugs her. So I don't know if she catches a vibe or maybe somebody mentions it.
Maybe.
But she asks very direct questions and gets not a very direct answer.
No, this is the perfect opportunity for him to be honest.
Yeah.
So now I'm sorry. I don't care if you think she's too touchy. You've kind of been shady about it behind her back now twice that we've seen. Mm-hmm. And when she's earnestly coming to you to be honest and have a conversation, and you have a moment to be like, yeah, I'm just not used to the touchiness. And it's not that you're doing anything wrong. I think it's just soon. He could say something like that. He doesn't.
He says
he
nothing.
Lie. Movie night is about to be crazy.
Oh my gosh. I would love for Amaya to be able to watch this.
I know, but I'm also, don't argue because I'm going to feel so bad.
I know.
I hope Casa treats her right.
It's really tough. Like, it's tough when you have a big personality. I think we could relate. It's tough when you have a big personality and people are like, oh, you're too this and you're too that. Because, like, what do you want her to do? Change herself?
Right.
Like, she can't. So I guess this is not a connection. Like,
yeah,
a lot of people, when I go to like when I work places or like meet people, they're like, you're really loud, and I'm like, yeah, bitch, I am. Like, the fuck.
And what about it?
Okay, what do you want me to, like, I'm just naturally this way, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what can I do? You're like, okay, if I'm maybe loud in quiet settings or a movie or something, I could adjust that.
You're like, all right.
Yeah, but like, this is where she's able to be herself and be fun and be free. So if you don't like it, you know, and maybe he feels bad, and that's why he's like, I'm just not used to it, you know. But
but then you shouldn't have talked about it behind her back.
You shouldn't have said it behind her back.
The way you did, at least.
Right. You could mention it to her, or be like, you know, like, maybe not so touchy yet. Yeah. You know, like, or have a conversation like, are you open to exploring? Because we saw Austin ask Chelley all the time, like, where are we at? How we, you know, maybe ask her, like, you know, I still want to make sure we're open though. You know, I do like you, but you know what I mean? Say something like that. I don't know. But he does nothing. So respectfully, fuck you, Austin.
Fuck off, Austin. I hope you go away with the boat.
No, for real, because I like Amaya.
I know, suck. And she looks so cute.
She does. She's so happy. She's like slowly been tanning, and just looks better and better, glowing every day. So we have our last conversation of the night. It's Jeremiah and Andreina. Oh. They go to Soul Ties, and she says she was really excited for the day, and she liked the challenge, and she wanted to get to know him more and maybe kiss him. And he says, she asks what he's looking for, and he says he's looking for a best friend, someone to laugh with. And she says, well, I'm laughing now. And they kind of giggle. And he says, you know, I'm really kind, I'm goofy. And she says, you know, what else? Like, I hope you're more picky than that. Like, it can't just be, you know, you want a best friend.
Yeah.
And then they get into talking more, and she says that she's only been in one relationship, and he's like, or she's been in no relationships, and he asks why. Like, I'm not judging, I've only been in one. And she said, you know, she's a catch. So, like, what's happening? You know, like, the right guy hasn't come along. Like, she's like, I'm not a psycho, but, you know, I don't really do one night stands. And if I'm talking to someone, it's because I see potential in that person and I don't waste my time. So it's really hard finding someone you actually like. And while she's talking, she, like, looks at him and is like, what? And he's like, no, I'm listening. I think he's, like, giving her those eyes because she kind of blushes, and she just keeps talking, and she says she wants someone who she can talk to every day, you know, who has potential, that they can grow together. And she says that he is checking her boxes. Her list is long, but he's checking a few boxes. And she says she likes him, and she is excited. He says he's excited too. So in her confessional, she says, like, she likes his humor, his personality, his values. She's not her dream man, but he's getting there. So she says it sounds like they agree on a lot of things, and he's just looking at her. Jeremiah is not saying anything. He's just kind of smiling. And she's like, well, like, you're really, so she just keeps talking. And she says he's really cute. He's like, thank you. And then he pulls her hair back and kisses her more. They make out for like a couple minutes.
They do. They look good together.
They do. He bites her lip. Like,
oh, that
it's
lip
intense.
bite was a lot.
So we're watching this live, and I'm like, y'all need a room? Like, I don't think I should be here anymore.
Right. I was like, are we invading in some privacy?
Yeah, it was very passionate.
But I'm like, go off. Y'all have fun. I was here for it.
Me too. And in his confessional, Jeremiah, again, is like, thank you, God. Like, this was, like, so great. Like, he's kind of blushing. He just looks like a kid, but he's like, I'm really happy. Like, this is great. And then they keep kissing, and when they're done, he says, like, oh, how's my lip combo? They joke. She checks his face for him, and then they just, like, kind of sit there for a second and keep looking at each other. They're both, like, leaning on the pillows, looking at each other.
Yeah.
And that's the episode, because it turns to America's vote.
Oh, yes. We had to vote for our favorite guy and our favorite girl.
And I tried like 5 times, and it would not work for me. And then I forgot and went to sleep. Like, I was editing our video, our live, our watch party, and I forgot. So who did you end up voting for?
I voted for Nic because he won me over this episode. I'm liking his vibe, and I want him to stay. And then I voted for Amaya. Because I was worried. I was like, I don't know how this is going to happen if someone's going to go home. Yeah. And I want her to have the odds because I think it might be, I don't know if I read this or I saw this somewhere. It might be there's a bottom 3 guy and girl. Maybe. So with that, I'm kind of like, I don't want her in the bottom because that could lead to like a voting situation or something. I don't know. I want her to be safe.
Me too.
So I was just like, let me do this. So I voted for them.
Valid. I don't know. I wanted to vote for Cierra on Friday. I don't know which guy I would have picked because I don't really have a favorite among them. But yeah, I'm curious. So who do we think could be on the bottom?
I don't know.
Maybe Iris?
Iris, maybe, because she's new. Pepe.
Maybe Austin.
I think a lot of people are turning on Austin now. So honestly, I'm hoping maybe Austin will go.
Maybe it's Austin. Because, we also watched Aftersun.
Oh, yes.
You want to talk about that now?
Yes. It was a fun episode.
It was.
We learned a little bit about Casa, but it was just like some fun chats. Paige was on it with Sally and Callum. Like I said before, she wasn't wearing the suede. She looked super cute in her dress. She had posted a TikTok of her 3 other dress options she had. Just like, this is what I was gonna maybe wear. And the first one was almost like a brown kind of. It could have went with it. It was like a chainmail or something. And people were like, that could have fit with the whole lumberjack theme. Like, they did you dirty. And I'm like, it low-key could have. But they were cute. So, but this one was probably her best one that she wore. And yeah, they were just like talking about the week and stuff.
Yeah, so they show us a clip of Meg in the villa again. And they show her hanging out like in her confessional, and she was just like, man, this was like so cool hanging out with the girls. I'm really happy, and like they're real people, like the girls, you know, they have real feelings. And it was like cool. And I was like, I think you're trying to do an SOS for Huda. Because later the cast discussed Huda again, and they're like, you know, yes, she was being extra, but she's being real and raw, and it doesn't warrant shade from the world. And they talk about Celly and Callum talk about how like stressful it is in the villa and stuff. So they're very much like, guys, chill out with Huda. Because when Ariana comes on, she's like,
she does like a PSA.
Yeah, like this doesn't warrant contacting her family and commenting on her posts. And she's like, you have time to delete those. And I'm like, people are they're a lot on social media. I don't condone any of that. So I'm glad that they did that, because people were going really hard on Huda.
No, I agree. They needed to say something, and like hopefully, even though I doubt it, the people doing it probably don't feel ashamed of themselves, but they should. But yeah, it's like, come on, y'all, this is like entertainment. Like, it's fine to like comment on like stuff and like what you're thinking, but to like comment hate, and then like I think someone used her daughter in like a meme.
Like
they're going like off. It's like way too much.
No, that's not okay. Like we talk about it, we're discussing what we see, but I'm not making a conclusion about her as a person. Like, I'm talking, she is kind of a character on a show. She is a real person, but like we don't know her whole life. We only know these bits and pieces that we see. Maybe Jeremiah was doing some other shady stuff. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, not to go, I don't think it's necessary to go in on her as a person. You know, leave her life alone. Like,
I agree.
She's just on the show with us.
That's like her real life. Like, talk about the villa. That's it.
Right. And then they talk more. Paige liked how good of a sport Iris was being. And that was cool.
And then what was it? They showed some kind of like unseen footage. Of like them doing like TikTok trends.
It was cute.
It was like Nic, Olandria, Taylor, Chelley. And they were doing like some galloping dance or something.
I've never even seen that one either.
I think I did, and I think Chelley was right. I think they record it and then you edit it to make it look faster.
Oh, like you're floating?
Yeah. And I think Olandria was like, no, it's like this. And I'm like, I think Chelley might be right, but I don't know for sure. So
it's cute seeing them hang out. And then Sophia tried to do it and like flash the cast. And I was like, oh my gosh,
they were trying to do that leg thing.
Yeah, and I was like,
and Ariana was like, I'm not doing this. I'm wearing a mini dress.
Yeah. They also showed during the recoupling a very tense moment. People are voting on who they...
Chelley was about to vote.
Yes. And a big bug flies at Austin, which is so funny because we've seen him dodge bugs before. Hilarious. It was so funny.
Hannah's like sobbing and laughing. Olandria was laughing. Ariana was just like... what the fuck? That's the biggest fucking bug ever.
She's like, I hope it doesn't come over here. And then Huda says like, oh, it flew away. Like in between tears.
It was so funny. But it was funny too because Ariana was so stiff. But it was because she said on Aftersun, she was like, in that dress, she could not lift her arms or else she'd be exposing herself. So I cannot imagine if the bug flew. She'd be like, oh.
No, but everybody like you, they loved the dress. They really loved it. Yes. And then we saw Amaya singing.
Oh, yes. I know I'm not perfect, but I'm me. Something like that. It was beautiful.
Something. She's like, I'm being myself with her little raspy voice. I was like, Amaya, you are so... She's like, I'm my own best friend. I was like, go off, queen. Period. I know that's right.
And then I think the other thing was we got some Casa tea.
Yes.
So Ariana comes back at the end and she tells us that she just visited Casa Amor. There's this other room that's almost like a fake... I don't know if it's like a hidden door or something. You push it in and it's like a secret room with like pillows and stuff. And things can happen there.
Yeah.
And then she said the girls are actually going to be the ones going because last season it was the guys. And then it's going to happen, she said, in 2 sleeps.
2 sleeps.
So it's Sunday right now. We're recording tomorrow,
so Tuesday,
Monday.
Oh, and then we'll have a cliffhanger again. Fuck.
Yeah.
But it'll still be nice.
I wonder if they're going to enter Casa.
Yeah, I think they're going to go to Casa Tuesday and then we're going to have to wait a day to see what actually happens.
Monday.
Oh, I thought she did 2. Oh, but 2 sleeps in the villa.
Well, two sleeps Saturday,
I took
Sunday.
two sleeps as 2 episodes. That's not what that means. So yeah, I think you're right. Monday.
We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's Monday.
It might be Monday. Probably they'll get introduced to Casa. If not, Tuesday. Regardless, it's soon, y'all.
It's soon.
It's happening.
It's so soon. So we'll see what happens. I also thought it was crazy how Ariana was talking about how she's getting ready to go do the recoupling, and Charlie and Hannah are having their talk at that moment. And I was like, bro. But like, we talked about this. And Sophia said it to her too. Like, she did such a good job handling such a tense moment.
Yeah.
And when Charlie asked to like go talk to Hannah, it was like she just said yes before the production could tell her no. And I was like, oh, you're so nice, Ariana.
She's like, we need to get this real moment. It shows he cares. And I'm like, period.
Yeah.
Because I know sometimes shows can be strict with stuff like that. And because I know even for like the votes, they'll separate them. Someone said, I think Sally said it on Vile Files.
Yeah.
She said they separate them so you can't talk during the vote. So nothing's like influenced or anything. Because Vile Files was trying to blame Hannah for Charlie going home. Like, she should have said something. I'm like, whatever.
Well, actually, they discuss it because Charlie comes on and he like, you know, they show him his video and his stuff. And he was like, I was trying to say like, guys, we just had a really great conversation, but I guess nobody really heard. Like, I mean, Amaya was crying and saying like, no, you know, they're like, be quiet, Charlie, don't
do this.
He was like, nobody heard my final plea.
We don't want to do that though.
We don't want to do that. They were going in. And then I guess Charlie is the one who busted Nic's lip. It wasn't a cold sore.
Everyone was thinking cold sore, but it turns out.
My bad, Charlie. I mean, Nic. I thought you had a cold sore.
Our bad. Yeah.
It looked like one.
A lot of people getting bruised lips because even Bella had gotten a bruised lip from like someone biting it during the kiss or something.
I kind of get it because they're like throwing themselves at each other and like really going hard and being playful. But somebody's bound to get hurt. But yeah, Charlie was just like, you know, they asked him how he felt about seeing Hannah with somebody else, but
he's like, I guess you could say it's like the thing is like the guy that got the girl, like she would have picked me, so like it is what it is, but it just wasn't meant to be because then I got voted out. And there's like a side conversation happening, I think, with like Paige, Sophie, and Sally, and they're just like, girls think so differently.
They really do.
And I was like, this is funny. They're like, no, she liked you, but she's moving on.
She's moving on. She has to. And then they talk about Taylor. So Paige thought that Taylor wasn't stepping it up enough, and she kind of felt like maybe if Jalen would have had more time, it would have been better because like it felt like a safe option. And I was like, that's a good way to put it.
I like that too. It's like she was more comfortable with Taylor, so it's like, okay, we'll go with that. Yeah.
And I was like, that makes sense because they're like, we wonder how Taylor is gonna act in Casa.
Oh yeah.
Because I could see a scenario where Taylor goes into Casa, gets really high on somebody else. Olandria is at the villa being loyal to him, and then comes back to him not waiting for her. So
I think it was Ariana and Paige had agreed or something where they said Ace was gonna be like the Kendall.
Yes.
And like hype everyone up, and I'm like,
but
totally.
Do nothing. Yeah, like he's gonna be the hype man, but not stray from him.
He's either gonna do that, I think, or completely disrespect Chelley.
Yeah.
It's gonna be one or the other, but probably the hyping.
No, because he really thinks he's the authority on all things Love Island.
Yeah.
And then they were talking about Amaya, and they're like, man, Amaya can't catch a break. Like, she's getting dinged for loving on Love Island. Like, she's just herself.
This is what is supposed to happen.
Yeah. I'm like, damn. I'm glad we're not the only ones who sees it.
Amaya Papaya.
So sweet.
We love you.
But that was kind of it.
Yeah, it was fun. It was cute.
Oh, Chelley and Ace were on there. It was cute.
Yeah.
They were answering questions.
Kind of didn't pay attention. I hate when they bring the people. Sometimes it's funny and sometimes I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah. They looked bored at first. I was like, what's going on? But then he like kissed her and said he's really happy with her. And they were just like, oh. I don't know why. I don't really care for them together.
I don't either. I don't know.
I think it's because I don't like Ace very much.
Yeah, I'm just like...
He's a shit stirrer.
I'm not going to say it's because they knew each other before, because that's like fine. And they were honest about it.
Yeah.
So people were debating whether they're being completely honest. I don't know. They said something. They could have said nothing. It just feels like it was they liked each other, but then were acting like they didn't, and now they're together. But I don't know, just something about it. They're cute together, but I'm not like invested.
Yeah, I don't really see. I don't know. It's hard. I really feel like I haven't gotten to know Ace outside of him just being messy.
Yeah.
When they show Ace the most, he's complaining. I haven't really seen him like be himself. Like I've seen him flirt and like talk, but like Chelley is like so cool and down to earth and really chill, and he doesn't seem that way. So that's why I'm not so high on him. And he's just low-key an insufferable know-it-all. Like, you're insufferable know-it-all. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Like, you really think you know everything, and you always want to lecture people, and it's like, you're like really high on the drama, and you know?
Yeah.
And it is cool that you do things for Chelley and stuff, but like, you talk a lot of shit. You know?
Right. I'm interested, I'm interested to see how they are now that they're officially in a couple.
Yeah.
Because, like, maybe it'll open him up more. Maybe we'll see him actually, like, be in a relationship and how he navigates that. Yeah, because
we kind of saw it a little bit. Like, he'd give her a kiss and, like, they talked during the challenge. They had a lot of fun, but we didn't really see anything else from them.
So we'll TBT. See. We'll see more of that tonight.
Stay tuned. Yes, I'm excited.
Tonight's
for this
episode, though, also is the vote. I think will be revealed, and I'm assuming someone's gonna go home. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
And then it's gonna be Casa.
I'm so excited for Casa.
I am too. It was wild. I was rewatching, I think, Movie Night from last season. Mm-hmm. The men really were acting up. Like it was like I remember we all were like offended, just like you're doing our girls like this. What the fuck?
I remember being like, they're so feral.
Yes, like, and then they didn't even have good guys that came for their Casa.
No, the guys who came for the girls' Casa were very like, you know. And
they
all
only
the girls...
kept one, and it was just because Liv needed to.
Yeah,
because she was single.
Oh, and then like, what was his Kane? Yes.
Miguel.
Can you have 5 minutes to pack your shit and get the fuck out?
You didn't pick Liv that time, so you gotta go.
You gotta go, Kane. But yeah. We'll see. I hope the girls' Casa is better.
I do too, and it should be fun now that they're going to it.
Yeah.
But I think that was it.
Oh, my last thought.
Oh, yes.
I'm very irritated that the girls don't get even like an hour with the bombshells by themselves. Like, the guys will have like a whole day with a bombshell, and we get to see the girls squirm. I want to see the guys have to work for it a little bit.
Yeah.
Squirm a little bit, look nervous for just a minute.
Because even with the two, like Jalen and Pepe, then Iris came, so they had something.
Right. Like, they always get a girl and a guy bombshell at the same time. Like, but we'll see them squirm maybe with Casa.
Hopefully.
Because it always is like, when you stay, it always feels like you're missing out a little bit. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with that being said,
that's it, y'all.
I think that's it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for listening. Yes. Make sure to like and subscribe, rate and review. Oh my God, I have a review to shout out. Ooh. Yes, so we got a new Apple Podcast review. Yay. This is very sweet. It's from Lovely Listener. Ooh. Rated us 5 stars, and it's titled My New Bestie. Yay! Maggie and Brandon are such a breath of fresh air in this podcasting space. Every episode feels like a fun, shady yap sesh with a long-distance bestie. My new go-to for reality TV and pop culture discussions. Thank you so much. That was so sweet. We appreciate that. Yes. And if you want to be like them, you should leave us a review. We'd love to shout them out.
Yes, we'll shout them out.
Rate us 5 stars.
Thank you, though. That one's so cute.
I know, that one was fun.
Thank you.
Spotify, you can rate us 5 stars as well, and you can comment on the episodes, and we like to comment back. If you want to see our beautiful faces instead of just listening to our beautiful voices, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at The Shade of It All Podcast.
Watch us on YouTube. Brandon's wearing a new shirt. He's only worn it twice. I just got my hair done. Come look at us.
Yes. And we post clips on TikTok at The Shade of It All Podcast. We have our Instagram at The Shade of It All Pod. And then our Patreon, where we're doing weekly live watch parties every Friday.
Yes, join us.
At The Shade of It All. It's only $3. That's nothing.
Nothing.
But we'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.